Okay, good to see you. If you are just hopping on, I have props that I'll be using today. Strap, definitely. Grab something that could mimic this. A couple of blocks. And I have a meditation pillow, but you can use like a regular pillow or towels folded up. And yeah, come into child's pose. So your big toes together and your knees as wide or wider than your hips. And see if you can just nestle the weight of your hips back towards your heels so you feel very grounded in the lower half of your body. And as the lower half of your body becomes more grounded and heavy, without disrupting it, pull a little bit of length into your side waist, your spine, your neck, all the way through your fingertips. And lengthen your breath here. Start to create a deeper listening to your breath so that you can feel all the farthest reaches of an inhale. And you can give in to the release and drawing in of your exhale. And so when this breath becomes full enough and focused enough, it'll create soft little movements within the posture that'll just gently guide your muscles and calm your nerves deeper into the pose, deeper into the moment. Take one more full breath here. On your next inhale, rise up into a tabletop position. Cow pose, breathe in. Reach your pubic bone to the back of your mat. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. So not only are you extending your spine, but think of creating length, especially in your low back. Exhale, round your spine into cat. Cow pose, breathe in. Exhale, roll through to cat. One more time, inhale, cow pose. Round your back, cat pose. Neutral spine, tuck your toes. Point your heels up towards the ceiling, so as you sit the weight of your hips back towards the back of your mat, you feel a deep flexion through your big toe ball mound. Bring the back of your hands onto the mat so your palms are facing up towards the ceiling. And then bend your elbows and gently straighten your arms. If you want to make this more intense, you can bend your elbows and make little fists, and then work to straighten your arms. 2 more breaths. Keep bending and straightening, just working in a subtle and slow process of loosening the muscles and the fascia. 1 more, big breath. And then release your hands. Turn your fingertips towards your thighs, so the front of your wrists are open to the front of your mat. Slide your shoulders back, peel the heel of your hand up off of the mat, and then shift forward. Slide back, peel the heel of the hand and the palm up off your mat. And shift forward. And then one more time as you slide back, you'll peel the heel of the hand, the palm, and gently, slowly roll all the way up and over your fingertips. Take your time. Plant your palms. Extend your legs out into plank. Circle your ankles around in one direction. Shoulders will move over your wrists in circular motions as well. And then reverse the circles. Stay anchored through your feet pushing down and strong in your legs to help alleviate some of the weight from your wrists. Hold steady. Lift the back of your head straight up so the back of your neck is strong. Take a big breath. Exhale, release. Knees, stomach, and chest all the way to the mat. Extend your left arm out to the left, perpendicular to your body, and allow your left fingertips to slide away from you as you roll over your left shoulder. Create any variation with your legs. You can stack your legs, slightly split them, or even place your right foot behind your left knee. Now focus in on your breath here once again. As you focus in on your breath, can you create a full enough breath that it helps to stretch out the pectoral muscle? So breathe from your belly to your chest expanding. And as you exhale, feel the inherent release of everything drawing back in towards the midline. One more breath in. Slow breath out. Roll onto your stomach and your chest. Extend your right arm out to the right. Roll over your right shoulder. So big stretch here for your bicep and your pectoral muscle. Right where they connect in the front of your shoulder, at the process of the shoulder blade. So just knowing these bits of information and forming yourself in this sort of way can just empower your understanding of where to send your breath, giving you a deeper awareness of what's happening. And then the breath can help to facilitate the posture, the work of creating even more length in those muscles. Take one more big breath. Roll onto your stomach and your chest. Plant your palms. Push yourself up to your knees. Sit back into child's pose. Interlace your fingers at your low back. Reach your knuckles up towards the ceiling. Pull your shoulder blades away from your ears so it's a big stretch across your collarbones. Keep your hips back. See if you can lengthen your spine a little bit more. And then reach your knuckles over to the right, peeling the head of your left shoulder away from your sternum. You can even roll your head and look to the left. Take a big breath from belly to chest. Roll through center. Knuckles to the left, look over to the right. Keep your neck relaxed and your head heavy. And then breathe up into the right pectoral muscle, into the head of your shoulder. And come back through center. Melt your hands by your side, palms turned up towards the ceiling. Allow your shoulder blades to broaden so your upper back rounds. Take 2 big breaths into your back ribs. So big that you feel the shoulder blades gliding on the ribs. And extend your arms straight forward to the top of your mat. Lift yourself up into tabletop. Fingers spread wide. Tuck your toes. Downward facing dog. Create length in your down dog. A lot of distance between your hands and your feet. And if you're not sure how much, you can shift into plank. Use that as your measure. Push the earth away with your hands so you're strong around your shoulders and flexion. And then just pedal push your heels. Stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. Push into your right hand as you bend your right knee and open up your hip. Push the earth away so your chest lean back towards your left thigh a little bit more. Lift your left heel. Draw your right knee in towards your nose. Place your right foot to the outside of your right hand. If it doesn't make it, simply take your right foot or heel with your right hand and give yourself an assist to step it the rest of the way forward. Both hands to the inside of your right foot. Slowly melt your hips forward as you curl your chest up. And keep your left big toe ball mound anchored. Your left quad engaged, and then roll onto the pinky edge side of your right foot. Reach your chest forward a little bit more. And can you make space at the side of your neck by squeezing your shoulders away from your ears? Hold for 3 more breaths. Your left glute should be engaged, which helps opening your left hip flexor. Your outer right hip is probably working as well in this external rotation. And your shoulder blades drawing down away from your ears to help open and lift your chest up. 1 more big breath. Gently release your left knee down to the ground. Swing your right arm towards the back of your mat. Push down with your left hand so your chest props up even more. If it's available to you, grab on hold of your left foot and squeeze not only your heel to your glute, but rotate your right knee even closer towards the floor. If you're very close to your foot but can't quite reach it, this is where a prop, I'll give you the modification, a prop comes in handy. It fills the space, it bridges the gap, and makes it easier to catch hold of the foot. You have 3 more big breaths here. Relax the tension in your face. Relax any tension between your inhale and exhale. One more breath. Release your foot. Unravel your upper body, bringing both hands to the inside of your right foot. Lift your left knee up off of the mat. And then turn your right toes to the left. Walk your upper body to the left. Eventually rotate your left toes to the ceiling and sit down into half malasana squat. It's okay if your right heel is lifted up off of the ground here. Imagine you're deepening in to this crease in your left hip. If you need your hands to balance, keep them on the ground. If you feel balance, hands to your heart and use your right elbow to push your right knee open even more. Think of softening your outer right glute. Lift tall through the base of your skull. Take 1 more full breath. Plant your hands on the mat. Rotate yourself to the top of your mat. Both hands come forward, back heel lifts, and then drop your left knee down. Melt your hips forward, curl your chest up, breathe in. As you exhale, straighten out your right leg, flexing your right toes towards your face. Bend into your right knee, breathe in as you curl your heart up, head up. And then exhale, you're working to straighten your leg. You might not straighten all the way to start, and that's okay. 1 more time, bend your knee, breathe in, lift. As you exhale, take your half split, and this time you'll hold. So, refine the posture by flexing your foot, especially the pinky edge side of your foot towards your face. And then feel a sense of pulling your right thigh bone deep into the hip socket. So your right quad slightly strengthens, the right hip flexor muscles strengthen. And from that strength, you can possibly pull length into your chest, into your spine. Place your left fingertips directly under your left shoulder, and then twist your right arm up towards the ceiling. Rotate the heads of your shoulders away from your ears and create space at your right side waist. Outer right hip rolling back, right collarbone reaching forward. Breathe into the right side waist till you feel the muscles that connect from your lower ribs to the top back of your pelvis lengthen. Bend into your right knee. Place both hands down around your right foot. Lift your left knee up. Downward facing dog. Fingers spread, strong arms, strong legs. Tilt your pelvis up towards the ceiling. Stretch your heels down to the ground. Grip the mat with your fingertips and stay super supported with your left arm as you reach your left leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee and open your hip. And notice that the left ribs usually want to peel up with the hip. Can you isolate the opening to just the hip joint as you spiral your left ribs so they're facing your right thigh? Lift your right heel up high. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Lizard lunge. Strengthening in lizard lunge first. Anchor into your right big toe ball mound. This will help to increase the mobility of flexion in your big toe ball mound joints, that base knuckle. And then draw your shoulders back, heart forward. Roll onto the pinky edge side of your left foot. Now it may feel like a lot of weight in your hands. You can bring a towel under your hands or some sort of prop to give yourself a little bit more space and ease. Or just reminding yourself to stay engaged. Engage your right quad, engage your right glute. All that muscular engagement will lift dead weight out of your wrists. Now listen into your breath and calm the nerves by slowing down the breath. Mindful inhale. Lengthen your exhale. One more breath. Feel the right hip flexors opening. Slowly lower your right knee down to the mat. Push your left hand down and swim your right hand down. Left arm reaches back. Bend your right knee, grab hold of your foot if possible. And then gently squeeze your heel towards your glute. Notice if you've dropped all the weight into your right side, like your right hand, your right knee. Can you, from the left knee, start to balance out the posture? Your left knee pulling your whole body to the left. Soften your outer left glute as you do. One more breath up into the chest, expanding. Slowly release. Both hands to the inside of your left foot. Lift your right knee up and turn your upper body to the right. Rotate your left toes towards the right corner of your mat. Rotate your right toes up towards the ceiling. Half malasana squats. Good. Settle into the big stretch through your right hamstring. Keep the weight of your pelvis releasing down, but then lift up from the pit of your belly to bring length into your spine. Breathe here. Soften your jaw, soften your forehead, any muscles that are reacting in tightness, so that you can be efficient in where you're holding energy in the pose. One more breath. Bring your hands to the mats. Walk your hands to the top of your mat. Your right heel will rotate towards the ceiling. Slowly lower your right knee. Both hands surrounding your left foot. Low lunge. Hips down, chest up. Exhale, slide back to your first half split. So you don't have to force it. Just gently guide your leg and hamstring into a little bit more length. And then bend into your front knee again. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, start to straighten out into half split. And one more time, bend your knee, inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split, straighten out your leg. This time we'll hold. So, often what happens is we start and we get really flexed in the spine and we're scrunching up at the hips. So we want to work in length, which will take some engagement in the right places to open up. So squeeze your left thigh bone into the hip sockets. Think of the muscles, the hip flexor muscles deep in the hip socket are pulling your thigh bone in. And from that space of integration, you can start to lengthen your spine forward. It gives you like a firm foothold so that you can create more space. Now, your body might not be moving a ton, but even just thinking about these places and thinking about these movements is a good start. Eventually, the body will understand. Keep your right hand directly underneath your right shoulder and then twist your left arm up towards the ceiling. Left toes stay flexing towards your face, especially that pinky edge side of your foot. And roll your outer left hip towards the back of your mat. Left side waist reaches forward. Again, if you can imagine the muscles that connect from your lower ribs, back lower ribs, to the back top of your pelvis. Lengthening out here, and then lengthening even further with breath. Bend into your front knee. Both hands surround your front foot. Find your way back to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath. Shift forward into high plank. Slowly lower all the way down to your stomach and your chest. Extend your left arm out to the left. Bend your left elbow to 90 degrees. And then look at your left arm. You want your left elbow slightly higher, just a little bit higher than your shoulder. Your wrist in line with your elbow. You'll allow your left forearm to roll away from you, sliding on the ground as you roll over your left shoulder. Most likely you won't be able to go as far as when your arm was straight. So just recognize that. And go to where you meet sensation without forcing it. And then you'll most likely feel right around the shoulder joint, the head of front of your shoulder, right where the connection of your pectoral muscle is and bicep, a deeper stretch. So breathe fully up into that space. Allow your breath to bring awareness to any muscles, especially in your face, that are reacting and tightening. We're going to hold this for a little bit longer. Really giving the chest time to open, time to process the pose. And so what often happens, the more time we get the mind, we become more aware of the restlessness of the mind. So instead of trying to turn off the mind, just give it something to focus on. Create detail in every step of your breath. See if you can breathe into new spaces in your body. And if none of those are working, if they're too subtle, then give yourself something more tangible, like counting the length of your inhale and exhale. Soften the sides of your neck. Allow the weight of your head to drop into the floor. Soften a little bit more around your left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder. Keep your left arm completely relaxed. Take your time to roll out onto your stomach and your chest. Reach your right arm out to the right. A little backwards in my right and left today. Bend your right elbow to 90 degrees. Look at the elbow. Find the alignment. Elbow a little higher than your shoulder. Wrist in line with your elbow. Maintain that 90-degree angle and let your forearm slide away from you so the shoulder joint opens as you roll over it. And then a longer hold here. And in these longer holds, just limit yourself. Take the first few moments to fidget, to shuffle around until you fine-tune the balance of effort and ease. But then eventually you want the fidgeting to stop, so that you can dive beneath the surface layer of this posture. Relax your face, relax your neck. And then refine the energy of how you're holding the pose by bringing richness, fullness into your breath. Like the first moment of a breath in, or that first moment of your breath out. Noticing where you're breathing from and where you can send your breath to. Maybe by softening the body enough that you feel the body responding to the movement of your breath. And this is a beautiful space to get to because it takes you out of the normal pattern of movement that happens from muscular engagement. The muscles soften and now you're creating a new pattern of movement as you breathe. Gently roll out onto your stomach and onto your chest. Take your time, and as you go slowly, feel the right side of your chest soften. The right head of your shoulder relaxes even more. So the pose is still happening in the transition out. Plant your palms. Push yourself up to your knees. And then come all the way through to a seat. Okay, so take whatever props you have and just bring them back to like mid-mat. We're going to take the rest of the class on our backs. So if you have them somewhere around mid-mat, you can stay laying down and grab them easily. Okay, so go ahead and lie onto your back. Extend your legs, extend your arms, stretch out your whole body. And then bend your knees and plant your feet. So what we want to go for is a supported bridge. Your option, if you don't have props, is just to take a bridge without the support, right? Using the support of your feet and your upper back, and you don't have to force yourself into your greatest amount of extension here. If you do have props, bring whatever you have underneath your hips. The idea is to support the hips lifting so that you can open up the front of your pelvis a little bit more. We're not going to hold here for that long. Take just a few big breaths, drawing your ribs away from the top of your pelvis as you breathe in. And then letting the weight of your body drop into your feet and your upper back as you breathe out. Take one more deep breath here. If you have a prop underneath you, push into your hips or feet just enough to lift your hips and slide the prop out from underneath you. Slowly roll your spine onto the mat. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Extend your left leg. Curl your forehead up towards your knee with a rounded spine. Roll yourself down. Extend your right leg. Extend your arms. Big breath. Pull your left knee in towards your chest and roll forehead up towards your knee as you breathe out. Inhale, full body stretch. Exhale, right knee in, roll up. Full body stretch. Left knee in, exhale, curl up. Full body stretch. Keep your head on the ground, grab your strap, bring your right knee to your chest. So take your strap or whatever you're using for your strap around your right foot, extend it up towards the ceiling. If you don't have the strap, maybe you can try on grabbing behind your right leg with your hands. However, what you want to notice in either one, with the strap or without, notice if the chest is tightening up. Can you broaden your collarbones, let your shoulders draw away from your ears, and then even slightly tuck your chin so you feel as though the base of your skull is reaching to the back of your mat. Now, don't try to over pull your leg towards your head. A lot of times when we do that, we just end up flexing the low back. So we don't need to focus on that. The intention for the posture is just to get a hamstring stretch, back of the leg stretch. And so you can amplify that by pointing and flexing your right toes slowly. Exaggerate the point and flex and move slowly. Take one more breath. Hold your foot flexed. If you have the strap, bring the strap into your left hand. Now you're going to cross over the midline slowly and just a tiny bit. Usually just like 2 inches over the midline is enough, where your right foot kind of hovers over the left side of your hip. Think of reaching your right toes up towards your left shoulder. And then your right leg is on a diagonal line here from ankle to hip. Rotate, keep the diagonal line, but rotate your right thigh bone, knee, and toes internally. Keep your leg on the diagonal line and then rotate them externally. So your toes, your knee, and your thigh bone spiral away from the midline. Maybe even so much that spiraling action in the hip joint that your right hip, you actually feel it melt down and all of a sudden it's in line with your left. Bring your leg back to center. Point your toes, stretch the ankle, flex your foot. Keep your legs straight and take a twist, reaching your right leg all the way to the left, rolling onto the pinky edge side of your left foot, all the way until your right foot touches the ground and your hips stack. Stretch your right arm out to the right. Now, notice how the left side waist is pretty long and the right side waist is probably shortened. Can you very gently reach your outer right hip towards the top of your mat by pulling your left side of your hip up towards your left shoulder? Feel the pelvis level and completely stacked, and then melt the head of your right shoulder towards the floor as well. So you're creating distance between right shoulder and right hip. Keep the back of your neck long, sides of your neck relaxed. A few big breaths here. Now here's a small little refinement cue. Your hips are stacked, you're in this twist. See if you can pull without moving your hips so much. Just plug the right thigh bone back into the hip socket. Now continue to have that sense of your right thigh bone being drawn deep into the hip socket, and then slowly lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. If you keep pulling the right thigh bone down, you should feel a strong anchoring at the top of your glutes as you roll onto your back. Once you're there, bend your right knee. If you have a prop, place it off to the side of your mat. Take half happy baby, so right peace fingers around right big toe. Keep your hips down, and then you're working to stack your ankle over your knee. Relax the head of your right shoulder and let gravity push down onto the sole of your right foot, drawing your right knee in towards your right armpit. As your right knee draws back and down, feel your left hip opening up. One more breath. Bend your left knee, cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Push your right knee away from you. Drop this figure four over to the left so that the sole of your right foot finds the mat, your outer left knee finds the mat, and then use your left hand to push your right knee away from you. Soften your outer right glute as you do. Breathe into the right side body. Your inhale is gently pulling the ribs away from your pelvis, creating space and length through the side waist, through the muscles that attach upper body and lower body. Keep your legs in this figure 4 and swivel them up towards the ceiling, so towards center. And then let this figure 4 drop over to the right, eventually allowing your right foot to slide all the way on top of your outer left knee. Stretch your left arm out to the left. If it feels okay with your knee, you can gently push your right foot into your outer knee just to help draw your left thigh bone down. Left hip pulls down. Doesn't have to be much, just softly. Take a couple big breaths here. And come back through center. Unravel your legs straight, arms beside you. Let your feet fall away from one another, your palms to open. And then see if you can stay focused on the subtle sensations from the effect of your practice so far. The right hip, the right leg, the right foot. All alive and awake with a gentle tingling. Slide your legs together, full body stretch as you breathe in. Hug your left knee towards your chest as you breathe out. Take your strap. Strap around your left foot. Extend your leg. And then we don't have to overdo it with yanking the leg forward. A lot of times it's just because we haven't listened to our body in a while that we have to make those big movements. But what we want to work on is strengthening our ability to listen within and make softer, more subtle movements. So draw your leg a little bit away from your face, broaden your collarbones and chest. And then exaggerate the movement of your ankle and notice how that feels in your entire leg. See if you can point your toes a little bit more than you usually do and flex your foot a little bit more than you usually do. One more time, point and flex. Bring the strap into your right hand. Cross your left foot slightly over the midline. And then hold your left leg at a diagonal. Rotate your toes, your knee, and your left thigh internally. And again, some of these movements might not be a big movement. It might even just start as a thought or a sensation before you see the bones start to move. Start where you are. Take a few deep breaths. Keep your leg on the diagonal as you create external rotation. So your left thigh bone spirals. Your left knee, your left toes all rotate away from the midline. Unspiral your leg back to neutral and to center. And then point your toes, flex your foot. Keep your leg straight, foot flexed, and reach your left leg over your body to the right, creating a full twist. Stretch your left arm out to the left. And again, can you draw your left shoulder and your outer left hip away from one another? See if you can even breathe your outer right hip, left hip, and left shoulder away from one another. Keep your left foot flexed. On this side, create that small motion of pulling your left thigh bone deep into the hip socket. It'll feel maybe like your outer left hip is reaching towards the left-hand side of your mat just a tiny bit. And keep that integration as you roll onto your back, anchoring into the top of your glutes. Once you're there and centered, bend your left knee. Move the strap or your prop off to the side. Take half happy baby. Peace fingers around your left big toe. You might flex your spine to get there, but once you release your right hand, lengthen out the back of your neck and your chest, and then start to work your thigh, left thigh to the outside of your left ribs, left ankle over your left knee. Make the smallest reach of your right heel towards the front of your mat just to lengthen your right front of your hip a little more. Bend your right knee, cross your left ankle over your right thigh, figure four. Drop this figure four over to the right until the sole of your left foot plants, your outer right knee drops down, and then you're reaching your left knee away from your face. You'll feel the outer hip open up. Lengthen your left fingers, your left arm out to the left. Bring the figure four through center. Drop your legs over to the left, having your left foot slide on top of your right knee. Keep rolling until your hips are stacked and reach your right arm out to the right. Again, check in with the knees. Shouldn't be a ton of pressure here, but maybe you can exaggerate the opening of the right side body by using your left foot to reach your right knee a little closer to the floor, gently pushing down. Roll onto your back. Unravel your legs. Separate your feet wider than your mat, all the way wide. And then allow your knees to drop in towards one another. You can place a hand on your heart, a hand around your stomach. And feel the breath rise and fall beneath your palms. Soften your inner thighs, let your tailbone get heavy into the ground. Three more breaths here. Relax your face. Become even more detailed with your breath. In the detail, you'll find mindfulness. Separate your knees. Walk the soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Keep your hands where they are if that's working for you, or reach behind your head, grabbing opposite forearm or opposite wrist. 3 slow breaths here. Soften your outer hips and inner thighs. You can use your hands on the outside of your knees to draw them towards one another. You're going to roll to the right and bring yourself up into a comfortable seat. In your seats, you can sit on the ground or you can use a prop. I have a meditation pillow. You can use a regular pillow or blankets or block. So take a moment to get comfortable in your seat. Create extension in your low back. Lift your chest up tall. Stretch your left arm all the way out to the left. Flex your fingertips towards the ceiling. Reach to the heel of your hand so that your elbow lengthens. Your shoulder lengthens but softens down. And then tip your right ear to your right shoulder. Point your fingers towards the ground, but then also curl them, left fingers like they're reaching towards your left forearm. Keep your right ear to your right shoulder as you release slowly your left hand towards the floor. Stretch your right arm up and over your head. Place your right palm on top of your left ear. Take a big breath all the way up into your left collarbone, and then let your left hand come down to the ground as you side bend up and over, reaching your right elbow to the ceiling and eventually pulling it up over your head. You may want to keep your right elbow bent and your hand behind your head to support it, or extend through your elbow, lengthen through your fingers. Keep your outer right hip anchoring down. Big breath into the side body. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling, sit tall, and then place your right fingertips behind you, left hand to the outside of your right knee. Take a breath in. As you exhale, twist and grow taller. One more time, feel this breath, breathe in. Exhale, twist and grow taller. Untwist your spine back to center. Reach your right arm out, flex your right palm, kick through the heel of your hand so your fingers are really pulling back towards your face, and then drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. Make sure that both shoulder blades are melted down your back. Breathe from belly to chest to the side of your neck. Keep your arm extended, but rotate your fingers down so that the front of your wrist is opening up. Left ear stays towards your left shoulder. Relax your right hand gently down to the mat. Left arm reaches up. Cover your right ear with your left palm. And then side bend to the right. So your right hand will anchor. You can swivel your left hand behind your head all the way. Stretch your right elbow up towards the ceiling. Gently bring the back of your head into your hands a little bit more. So your shoulders pull back in line with the hips. Ears draw back in line with your shoulders. Hi, Albert. Come back up through center. We're puppy sitting. Left hand behind you, right arm up. And place your right hand to the outside of your left knee. Take a twist. Take one more big breath. Untwist to center. Chin to your chest. Do a couple of neck rolls, either full neck rolls or just staying chin to chest and swiveling your chin from armpit to armpit. Two more big breaths. Lift your head through center, hands together at your hearts, eyes closed. Find stillness in your physical body and then let that deepen. Slow down the rhythm of your breath and acknowledge yourself for making the time and space to put towards your mental, your physical, your emotional health. Bring hands from heart to forehead center, honoring the greater space that's been created by everyone that got onto their mats and practiced today, took care of themselves and their well-being. Thank you for joining me. Namaste. Okay, Matt, let the puppies loose. Hi, Albie. Hi. Callie, did you sneak out too? Did you sneak out too? Yeah. God, that's so cute how they both just slid.